Hey, fellow designers! You can control and bulk edit your typography with a few clicks. Do you need to change the letter spacing for all text styles by 0.25px? Instead of having to individually change each style, Typography Variables gives you the power to change it in one place. Then, it takes effect in all instances. Let's dive into setting up some typography variables so you can gain this power and save some time down the road. Stage 1. Set up text styles. I hate to break it to you, but you can't create typography variables without an existing text style. After creating all my color variables natively in the local variables pop-up, I assumed I could do the same with typography. So before you can dive into creating typography variables, you must create some text styles. If you have a design system, you probably have existing text styles and can skip this step. Steps. 1a. Create a text layer and modify the font family, weight, size, etc. 1b. Select the grid icon next to the text property. Select the plus icon in the text styles pop-up 1c. Name the style and give it a description, how to use the style. 1d. Repeat 1a to 1c for all needed text styles. Note, you will be able to see all created text styles in the file's design panel. Stage 2. Variables for font families. Changing font families for an established design system or company is pretty rare, but this will expedite the process if it ever happens. If anything, it's good practice to have the font family documented in the local variables, so all text properties are controlled by variables. Steps. 2a. Open the local variables pop-up. Select Create Variable. Select String. Note, use a string variable since the font family is a named value. 2b. Name the variable, i.e. font/family/headings. Note, the / creates automatic groups in Figma. 2c. Repeat 2a to 2b for all font families. You may only need one. Tip, use Shift+Enter to duplicate variables so you don't have to type font/family/heading each time. 2d. Link the font family variables to text styles, select Edit Style next to the text style. Select the font family, select Apply Variable button. Select the font family variable. Note, a gray pill with the variable name will replace the font family name in the text style. 2e. Repeat 2d for all text styles. To change the font family in the local variable, you must manually type in the font name verbatim. Also, make sure the design file has the font family included or the change won't do anything. Stage 3. Variables for font weights. Font weights can use string or number variables, depending on how you name them. If naming numerically, such as 100 to 800, use a number variable. If naming with an alias, such as thin to black, use a string variable. For this demo, I used a string variable. Steps. 3a. Create a string variable and name it, i.e. font/weight/bold. 3b. Repeat 3a for all font weight variables. Note, make sure naming is consistent and creates a clear hierarchy. 3c. Link the font weight variables to text styles. Select Edit Style next to the text style. Select the font weight drop-down. Select Apply Variable at the bottom. Select the font weight variable 3d. Repeat 3c for all text styles. Important note, the font weight variable name must match the font family's given weight names. For instance, let's say I change the font weight variable name from bold to xbold. The font family has a font weight name for bold, but not xbold. The variable change will not do anything to the text styles because it's not correctly mapped to the font family's nomenclature. So when naming variables, make sure they match the font family's weights. Stage 4. Variables for font sizes. Now let's make some number variables. Similar to font weights, font sizes can have different names depending on your typography needs. For this demo, I'll use t-shirt sizes. Steps. 4a. Create a number variable and name it, i.e. font/size/xxl. 4b. Update the variable's value with the correct font size. 4c. Repeat 4a to 4b for all font size variables. 4d. Link the font size variables to text style. Select Edit Style next to the text style. Select the font size drop-down. Select Apply Variable at the bottom. Select the font size variable 4e. Repeat 4d for all text styles. Stage 5. Variables for font line height. Setting up variables for line height might feel identical to font sizes, because it is. Whichever naming conventions chosen for font sizes should be used for line heights to maintain consistency. So, I'll continue to use the t-shirt sizes. Steps. 5a. Create a number variable and name it, i.e. font, line height, XL. 5b. Update the variable's value with the correct line height. 5c. Repeat 5a to 5b for all line heights. 5d. Link the font line height variables to text styles. Select Edit Style next to the text style. Select Apply Variable next to the line height value. Select the font line height variable. 5e. Repeat for all text styles. Stage 6. Typography modes. After creating the variables, modes may be needed for responsive typography styling. For instance, font sizes are typically bigger on desktop versus mobile screens. You can create modes so the variables do the work for you. For this demo, I named the existing mode for the variables desktop and the new mode mobile. Steps. 6a. In the local variables pop-up, select the new variable mode or ++ icon to create a new mode. 6b. Make needed changes to the variables values in the new mode. Note, some variables will remain the same across modes. 6c. Apply the variable mode to a frame in the canvas. Select the frame. Go to the Layer property in the Design panel. Select Change Variable Mode. Select the variable collection, then Mode 6D. Repeat step 6c for a mobile-sized frame in the canvas. 6e. Test the variable mapping. Stage 7. Variable Scoping. Scoping for typography variables was recently released at the end of May. So if you already created some typography variables after Framework by Figma, it's time to go back and add scoping to them. Scoping prevents misuse and helps the findability of specific variables. For instance, you wouldn't want to use line height variables for font sizes or vice versa. Steps. 7a. Open local variables and select Edit Variable for one variable. 7b. Swap to the Scoping tab in the Edit menu that appears. 7c. Unselect properties that the variable doesn't apply to, i.e. font weight doesn't apply to font family. 7d. Repeat 7c for all variables. Note, number variables have more properties they can be applied to, so more properties have to be unselected. 7e. Check the variable scoping. When selecting a variable for line height, only the line height variables appear. That wraps up just a few of the things you can do with typography variables. Pretty powerful, right? I demoed variables for font family, weight, size, and line height, but you can do more. Variables for letter and paragraph spacing can also be created using number variables following the same steps. Trust me, it's not just a time saver, it's a creativity enhancer. Thank you for watching the video. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel.